What's going on, everyone? What's up? What's up? I hope everyone is doing well. Let me get my screens up right now. It's been so much going on lately with everything going on with the weather and stuff like that. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. All right, there we go. There we go. Hope y'all are doing all right. I'm not gonna keep y'all here too long. Some of you guys are binge watching your favorite television shows right now, and some of you all are actually don't have power, so you're using limited sources right now. Hope that you guys are doing well. It's crazy what's going on right now with the storms. Sad that we're not really equipped here in Dallas, at least, or definitely in the South, to handle these storms. You would think that after so long, there will be some type of remedy for what's going on, but apparently not. So it is what it is. Let me get my screen pulled up, make sure you guys can hear and see me well. And then we're going to get started, you all. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I promise you that. I'm personally super, super tired, but, I got to get this done. Hold on one second, y'all. Make sure this is turned on. All right, let me see. Here we go. I'm super, super tired, but, a second. All right, there we go. All right, what's good? What's up? Say what's up if you're in the room. I'm in this StreamYard, so I can't really see who's in the room when you pop in. I can't see when you comment, so say what's up. Let me know you're here. If you're watching on replay, let me know you're here. Y'all don't make fun of me too much. I'm normally shaved bald, and my hair is growing back in, and it's all over the place. I haven't brushed my hair in days, so let's go ahead and get the commercial rolling for Real Youth Mentoring, and then we're going to get started on today with this course or with this session.
Looking to support a nonprofit that is making moves? Real Youth Mentoring is a nonprofit organization that provides support to young men across the United States, teaching them to be better scholars, better leaders, and productive members of their community. Through service, scholarship, and engagement, we address the systemic issues that often plague low-income communities while providing solutions rooted in economics and accountability. Visit our website, www.realyouthmentoring.org, to learn how you can join and learn ways that you can provide support. The change we need is here, and the change we need is now. Become a member and a supporter today.
Let's talk really quick, you guys. I hope y'all are having a great day. I hope you're staying warm. I just got back from San Antonio. We actually went to San Antonio prior to the storms hitting. So the thought process was, it's not going to be as bad down there as it is here. And it wasn't. It was actually pretty good down there. It was just cold. We got a little snow. I think that was Sunday night whenever I was outside with those photos. And then for the most part, it melted, and so I knew the second wave was coming back to Dallas today or tonight. It's actually snowing right now. So I said, well, let me go ahead and hit this road before we get caught up in these storms. So thankfully for us, there was no traffic. Like, with the exception of going through Austin, there was some traffic. And then, of course, when we got to Dallas, and like everybody named Mama was outside. But the plan that we had, it worked the way it was designed to work. We just kind of hung out over the weekend before the storms came and spent some time with some friends / family, and here we are. But listen, you all, I'm not going to bore you too much tonight. We're going to get down to the business. Why do we need credit? So you all, I want to talk about why do we need credit, because I think it's important for us to understand the why before we start diving into the how, okay? Understanding the why before you start diving into the how. A lot of times people don't understand why they do things. They just do them just to say I did it, or because someone taught me to do this, or because it's just the norm around them. But whenever I'm talking to people about credit, about building and restoring credit, maintaining credit, I always emphasize the why. Why do you need to build your credit? Why do you need to maintain your credit? Why do you need to restore your credit? And the answer is going to always be simple. The answer is simple because it deals with what we all deal with, and everyone has to deal with credit the exact same way. What's going on, Latoya? I hope everything is going well with you. Are you cool? You staying warm out there? Um, but the why is because you want to, one, avoid paying interest on money. That's what credit is all about. Credit is extending you money that is not yours at a rate. And the reason why you want to have good credit so that you can avoid paying interest on money. That's it. That's what separates the wealthy from the not so wealthy, or what I like to say, the wealthy from the rich. Rich is flashy, wealth is quiet. A lot of people, growing up, all I ever heard was, I want to be rich, I want to be rich, I want to be rich. But no one ever really talked about wealth. I mean, even you think about, one of my favorite groups, record labels, Cash Money. They always said, Cash Money rich, you know what, right? And they pounded in our head why it was so important for us to be rich, but never really talked about wealth. So whenever you utilize credit, credit is a tool that can allow you to gain or build wealth. But if you do it without having to pay interest, then you're really winning. And I learned this early in my life. Based on the interest rates that I got on cars, interest rates that I, got on my house, just interest rates on everything. And more importantly, also, the way the credit score impacted me from a financial standpoint, from a deposit standpoint. Whenever you go to apply for water, or whenever you go to apply for electricity or a cell phone, they run your credit. And many times you have to put down more money or deposit because you don't have good credit. So let's talk about this why a little bit more. For some of you all who are watching this, why do you use credit? Like, ask yourself that. Feel free to chime in. Here are some of the things that I personally use my credit for, okay? As you can see, I'm sitting inside of my house, so I use my credit for my house. I've used my credit to purchase vehicles. I've used my credit to refinance my home and refinance vehicles. Now, those are four things, but they are two in the same. I'll never forget whenever Ayanna and I were getting ready to buy the house that we're in now. I want to say the truck was in my name, and we didn't have a house in our name at all because we had already sold our house. And so, looking at my debt to income ratio and looking at a lot of stuff that we had laid out, my lender said, "Hey, Tim, if you can get that truck out your name, I could hook you up. I can put you in a situation that'll benefit you long term. You can get a much bigger house, or you can afford a lot more for a lot less." So I was able to go in and refinance that loan. Actually, Ayanna refinanced it into her name, the truck it was, and then we had it paid off about 7 or 8 months after that, right? But you think about just those two things, there are 4 transactions, okay? 2 items, a car and a house. We've had 4 transactions on those items, right? The purchases, which counted as 2 transactions, and then the refinances, which counted as 2 transactions, okay? So then you think about our insurance. Whenever we came to get so I'll be going back to labeling what I needed my credit for. So I have my car, I have my house. Car insurance, house insurance, okay? Now, I didn't realize how much my credit impacted car insurance until, I had a conversation with someone about this. I want to say my sister and I had this conversation. I know that she taught me that your insurance rate is depending on your county that you live in. I live in Dallas County. I'll never forget when I lived in Collin County, which is a suburb of Dallas. My insurance was really cheap. And then when I moved to Dallas, nothing changed except my address, and my insurance went up. But also when I switched insurance companies, they ran my credit and gave me a better rate because of my credit. So you have to understand that, your insurance is going to be impacted by it as well. Let's see what else. So car, house, insurance for house and car. When I went to go get my office, they ran my credit to make sure that I was paying on time. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I haven't yawned all day. The moment I get on here, I start yawning. What else did I have to use my credit for? Of course, getting my lights cut on. Of course, getting my water cut on. In our old house, we had gas, getting my gas cut on. So you need it for everyday things. And I've talked in detail about when I was a hiring manager, how people needed their credit to get jobs. But I think that once we start to actually understand the why, we understand how important it is to essentially navigate around our ways to improve the way that we're doing things. Okay. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to teach you guys how to pay your credit cards. I'm going to teach you guys how to pay your debts. I'm going to teach you guys so many little tricks and tips that I learned over the years I've actually applied that I was never taught. Okay. I spoke with someone recently who said they tried to apply for some student loans for their child and they weren't able to get a loan. And subsequently their child wasn't able to, stay in school or actually go off to school. They had to end up going to, I think, a local community college or something like that, which is probably the best idea. But, those Parent Plus loans can impact the person getting into school. Now listen, you all, when I talk about credit, I don't want you all to insert yourself so much so that you're oblivious to the realities of others. Okay. Anytime I talk about getting a job, I'll never forget one day I posted, credit, employees will check your credit. And then some lady who I guess she worked in HR at a company, excuse me, she came in my comments and was like, that's not true. Employees cannot deny you employment because you got bad credit. I work in HR and we could not do that. We run your credit before we don't extend, we extend you an offer regardless of your credit. And when you started to peel back the layers of where she was an HR representative at, she was an HR rep at a temp service, right? And not to knock any temp services, but temp services tend to place you with companies, but when those companies want you full time, you have to go through a hiring process with them. All right, y'all, I don't know why y'all. Let me give you an example. When I worked at Capital One, they had two different types of employees. They had the full-time employee and they had the temp. I'll never forget, you guys, when I worked there was this lady. I can't think of her name to save my life. I just remember that she was very, very, very beautiful. And I remember that because everybody was trying to holler at her. Okay. I mean, everywhere she went, it was some dude trying to pull her. And at Capital One, if you had a blue badge, you were full-time, and you got a pink badge, you were temp, right? And so she and I, from time to time, I would see her in the break room, and we would kind of chop it up and stuff like that. I ain't never try to holler. I'll put it out there because if y'all know me, man, I don't shit where I eat. So that wasn't my thing, but I know a lot of cats that did. And so we were chopping it up one day, and she told me she got the job through the temp agency and yada yada yada. So I'll never forget one day I saw her again. And it was like, hey, how's everything going? And the team that she was on was mostly temps. And so my partner was on that team, and he got an offer extended to him to become a full-time employee. And so all the people on her team who were pretty good at what they did got offers, including herself. So everybody was kind of celebrating. I would say about with a team full of let's say 16 people on team, 10 people got offers to become full-time. And at the time, you had to work there for 6 months to a year to even be considered. So I'll never forget seeing her in the break room. And I was like, and we had like this big cafeteria style break room. There was no actual cafeteria. It was just a bunch of microwaves, but it was huge. And so I was walking by and I said, hey, I don't know why I'm yawning. I walked by and I said, hey, what's good? Did you get an offer? And she was like, yeah, I got an offer. And I was like, well, you don't seem too happy about this offer. Like, everybody's excited. I mean, you're going to go from making $12 an hour to being, $16 an hour, full-time person with benefits. Like, what's going on? And she was like, well, a couple of things is going on. She was like, one thing is that, I have a record. I was like, what do you mean you have a record? She said, I have a record. I have a felony on my record, and I got hired through a temp agency. And so the temp agency had different requirements than Capital One. Okay. And secondly, I hear they do credit checks and stuff like that. And I have horrible credit. And at the time, I never even thought about it. Like, I never even thought about credit being a factor, right? It wasn't until I started working at another bank, at Bank of America, then I realized that they actually do this. And so she was distraught. Okay. And needless to say, she wasn't there much longer after that. And I'll just leave it at that. All right. I don't know if it was the background check or I don't know if it was the credit check, but at Capital One, you had to get bonded. Like when I got hired at Capital One, and it's funny because I didn't think of this until I'm saying it now. When I got hired at Capital One, they checked my credit. And I remember the lady saying, yes, we have to run a credit check on you to make sure that you can be bonded because of the job that I had. And I was like, I never thought anything about it, but I had to get bonded and she had to get bonded too. And many jobs nowadays, specifically jobs within the financial industry, require you to be bonded. And a bond is essentially them running your credit and making sure that you fit the mold. So why do we need credit? We need credit for essentially every aspect of our lives. Okay. Everyone these days are checking your social security number. They're checking your driver's license number. They want to know if you are who you say you are. And regardless if companies want to admit this, many times credit is a discriminating factor because of the obvious, right? Most people who aren't really familiar with credit tend to be, for lack of better words, people of color, right? I'll just say Black folks, but everyone who falls on that spectrum. So I need you all to understand why you need credit, and I need you to understand that moving forward when we talk about credit, how this particular conversation will be the foundation. Because if you don't realize what all credit impacts, then you'll be more likely to go out there and be frivolous and make mistakes with your credit. I didn't realize what all credit impacted until about a decade ago when I just started to research, and I was like, dang, I did not realize that credit impacted all of these things. I know people who have applied for really good jobs or jobs that are career type jobs like that require extensive background checks, and they can't get them because of their credit. I spoke with someone the other day who was like, hey, Tim, I'm not gonna say their name, but I believe they're in this group. Like, hey, Tim, I got to get a background check every so often to keep my clearance that I have, my top secret clearance. And so right now I'm working to get some stuff done. And this is like a career move. Like, this person can lose their top secret clearance if they have bad credit. Like, think about that. So credit impacts so many things. It's bigger than getting a car or getting a house. It literally impacts your livelihood. And I want you all to understand that before you go out and you make a decision that's going to impact you in a negative way. So this is what I want you all to do today. I want you all to collectively make a list of all the things that has required your credit to be ran. I was talking to a friend who was having issues getting a job. This is over a year ago. And so, you know how you check in with somebody like, hey, just think about you, hope everything's going well. And the friend was like, yeah, everything's going good. I'm, still on unemployment, still trying to get a job, but not having any luck. So I was like, well, how's your resume look? Oh, my resume looks good. I actually, hired someone to do my resume, so it looks really good. But within my field, it's hard to find work because of my credit. And I said, well, what do you mean because of your credit? Well, I have to have, good credit in order to have access to certain things. So we sat down, I took a look at their credit. I was able to identify some areas in their credit where they could improve. I was able to identify some areas in their credit where, they were actually doing pretty decent, but I was able to debunk many of the myths that they had about credit, which was causing them to psychologically do things that wasn't right for their credit, right? So I want you all to make a list of all of the things, of all the places that has run your credit for a service, for good, or for access to employment, okay? A service, a good, or access to employment. And I want you to then just take a look at that list and understand how having bad credit can either place you in a position to where you can benefit, or it can remove you from a situation to where you're doing without. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you tonight. It's late. I'm tired. As you can see, I've been yawning. But tomorrow we're going to dive really, really deep. And I really want you all to pay close attention to tomorrow. All right. But tonight, make that list and let's talk tomorrow.